This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
It is Friday, October 3rd, and a wild Friday it is. And it's still early. Right now, Taylor Swift's new album is out. That's big. Donald Trump just issued a warning to Hamas that they have till 6 p.m. on Sunday to release the hostages or all hell will break loose in Gaza. I don't have a lot of faith in that. The stock market has reached a new all-time high, and it's getting real in Portland and Chicago. But I want to start with another place where chaos has just broken out. And the reason I find this so alarming, so disturbing, is that it doesn't seem like that big a deal. I've been watching the news, I've been online, and there's some coverage. It's sort of noteworthy, newsworthy, but there's no real alarm. There's no real panic here. Europe has become one big no-go zone. We are watching from across the ocean as Islamicists, as jihadists run wild in Europe. And it's just like another day. It's just like, yeah, well, a Muslim fanatic attacked a synagogue, killed a couple people, and had a fake bomb strapped to his chest. His name is Jihad al-Shami. And it's like, all right, it happens. It's kind of part of life. That's what the way we look at it now. It just happens. There's millions of these fanatics in Europe and the US, and occasionally they'll act up and kill some Jews. And we move on. Oh, what's happening with the shutdown? Oh, who's winning the baseball game? And I started just diving into this. And the attack, which happened in Manchester, 9:30 yesterday morning, Jihadi had some accomplices, by the way. He wasn't a lone wolf. That's not the problem. Well, that's a problem. It's not the only problem. The thing that I find mind-blowing at this point is he was celebrated. On Yom Kippur, some Jewish people who were just going to synagogue get murdered in a major city in England, in Manchester, and celebrations break out all over Europe. That's where we are right now. A couple of innocent Jews get slaughtered, and thousands of people take to the streets of London, of Paris, of Bologna, all around Europe, waving the flags of foreign, waving terrorist flags, Hamas flags, Palestinian flags, shooting off fireworks, singing, dancing, celebrating. That's what mass immigration has wrought. Here's just a couple of examples of what happened last night in Europe. This is what do we got now here? Right here.
This is Italy.
This is Italy. Just mass jihadists firing smoke bombs, shooting off fireworks, waving flags, celebrating, cops on their heels. This is Italy. We got Paris. We got London. Same thing. Look at this. Absolute chaos. Why? Why are they protesting? Why are they rioting? Because it was Yom Kippur, the most sacred day of the Jewish calendar, the Day of Atonement. These are people who've been imported, who've been allowed into these countries, and they're not. You tell me, does that look like they're assimilating? Does that look like they're adapting? Or does that look like they want to conquer? They want to control these cities in Europe. This is the ultimate example of radical empathy, of the soft bigotry, of low expectations. Bring these people in. Oh, they're just looking for a better life. No, they're not. They're looking to take over. It is absolutely frightening what's happened in England. And I bring this up because it feels like it's not going to stop. It's going to get worse. You have people like Keir Starmer and Emmanuel Macron who have allowed this to happen, and they're still in power. You have people like Zoran Mandami, who's soon to be mayor of New York City. This is a preview of coming attractions. I can't help but think there's nothing stopping these people from doing this here in the United States. There's another Muslim fanatic who's about to be elected mayor of Minneapolis. And we know we have a fifth column in the U.S. Congress. We know we have Ilhan Omar and Jamal Pramala, I can never get her name right, who do not condemn this, who know this is inevitable in our country. But we have to take another look at England and what's happened. It's sad. I mean, we're talking about our closest ally, and they have not only imported this, but they have encouraged this. They have turned on their own people. Is this London we're looking at here?
Yep.
They're not arresting these people, shooting off fireworks, waving Palestinian flags, chanting Allahu Akbar and globalize the Intifada. And they're doing it because it's Yom Kippur and they want to kill the Jews. They killed a couple of them. This is the same country where if you wave the British flag, they will take it away. They will arrest you for a hate crime. That's no lie. Right now in England, they're arresting 12,000 people a year. It's 30 people per day. No, it's 300 people. I don't know. 12,000 people a year are being arrested for social media posts. You can dive into this. It's stunning. What's going on? They just arrested a guy named Peter North, a blogger, 47 years old, for tweeting F Hamas. F Hamas, a designated terrorist organization. This guy says F them. They knock on his door in the middle of the night and arrest him. They put a woman named Lucy Connolly in prison for 31 months for posting about the attack in Southport, where a Muslim fanatic killed 3 little girls who were at a Taylor Swift dance party. She tweeted something about the guy. She made a mistake. She said he was an immigrant. His parents were immigrants from Rwanda. He was not. He was born there. She deleted it 3 hours later. They sentenced her to 31 months in prison. People on your screen right now, not one of them will do 31 months in prison. Hell, they won't do 31 minutes in prison. They just have taken the side of the jihadists. That is what happened. That's what's happened in London, in Paris, in Bologna, all across Europe. It's absolute madness. These globalists, these open border fanatics are in control, are allowing this. And it seems like there's no end in sight. There's no peaceful solution, no conclusion where this ends. It's not going to end. And they are still pouring into these countries. They have not closed their borders, as Trump pointed out when he scolded them at the UN. You have to save your country. They appear to have no interest in saving their country. It's just madness. Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of England, the open border, left-wing fanatic globalist, he makes a statement after the murder of 2 worshipers at the synagogue yesterday morning. And he's full of it. It's just maddening listening to this. This is a man who just days ago said they're going to recognize a Palestinian state. They're going to open a Palestinian embassy and recognize it as a state. So they're rewarding Hamas for October 7th. That's what they're doing. Rewarding the savages who killed 1,200 innocent people, took 200 hostages, killed many of them, and are still holding some. They're holding hostages. And this is the man who just said, let's give them a state. And he has the gall to go before the cameras and say, oh, my heart breaks for the poor Jewish people of my country. Listen to this fraud.
The attack in Manchester this morning is absolutely shocking, and all of our thoughts are with those affected. I'm on my way back to London. When I arrive, I will chair an emergency COBRA meeting. I'm already able to say that additional police assets are being deployed to synagogues across the country, and we will do everything to keep our Jewish community safe. I've spoken to Mark Gardner of the CST and Andy Burnham, Mayor of Manchester, and I want to thank the emergency services for the speed of their response.
Yeah, the emergency services started firing at Jihad al-Shami, and they killed 2 innocent people. The only people shot were shot by the cops. That's how he's commending them for their response. The hero of this was the rabbi who locked down the synagogue before the the jihadists could get into the synagogue and kill more Jews. It's just that man has blood on his hands. That man is responsible. He's the one who encouraged the open border, unfettered immigration, and cracked down on native Brits who spoke out against it, didn't assault or hurt, or just posted things on Twitter or on Facebook. They're the ones getting arrested. They're confiscating British flags when you have thousands of radical Muslims waving Palestinian flags and Hamas flags. We can't allow that to come here. We just can't. I feel confident that Trump won't, but Trump's only in office for 3.5 more years. And again, you have these people in Congress who will encourage that, who will not condemn that, who can't even condemn 9/11 or October 7th, are sitting members of Congress because we have allowed them here. We have given them everything, and they turn and spit in our faces because they don't have a problem with that. What happened in Manchester, they're okay. Ilhan Omar, she's okay with that. She really is. You think Zohran Mamdani has a big problem with that? A guy who can't even condemn the chant of globalize the Intifada, a guy who wants to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. That man is going to be mayor of New York City. I'll say it again. 24 years ago, we said, never again. We will not forget. We forgot. We forgot. We're gonna see that here in this country, in our cities, on our streets. We have allowed this. It's unforgivable what Joe Biden, what Barack Obama, what the Democrat Party has done to this country. We've allowed in tens of millions of people. Some have good intentions, but many do not. We've allowed hundreds of designated terrorists to walk across the border. And as Tom Homan points out, they weren't looking for benefits, hotel rooms, and free phones. They have remained anonymous. They don't know where they are, who they are, because they have bad intentions. What you saw in Manchester is coming to our shores, and I don't see any way to prevent it, to stop it. They're already here. They busted a cell, Hamas cell, that was in the woods in Germany. They must have got intelligence. They found them with many weapons, guns, all kinds of bullets. They were planning another major attack. They busted them before it could happen. They can't bust them all. They're going to attack again. There's going to be another October 7th, and it's going to be in London or Paris or Rome or New York. It's coming because we forgot. We have lost our minds and allowed these people into the country. And today, there'll be someone in New York City waving a Hamas flag. And it's like, yeah, freedom of speech, just expressing himself. They'll be on the Columbia campus waving Hamas flags. And we will just say, well, it's freedom of speech. You can say what you want. You can express yourself. You can wave the flag of a terrorist organization that is holding hostages that killed Americans. We have to wake up. It is scary where we are right now. I recommend you Google, social media arrests in London. It is frightening. Literally hundreds of people every day getting a knock at the door by the police saying, did you retweet this? And if they did, they take them away and they do hard time. Those maggots you saw shooting fireworks at the cops, not so much. It is just scary. And it feels like this different cause, but it's happening here too. Let's get to Portland. We can now confirm that the city of Portland is lost. The mayor, the governor, the city council, the cops are on the same side as the anarchists. They're doing nothing to stop Antifa scum from attacking ICE officers, from attacking attacking journalists, attacking innocent civilians. You look at these videos and you say, where are the cops? They have been ordered to stand down. I'm not saying the cops are all part of Antifa, but they're not doing their jobs. They've been told not to do their jobs. The ICE director there said they're witnessing crimes right outside the ICE facility, and the local cops will not respond. They will tell you, oh, our city is peaceful. It's pleasant. You can take a walk. You can go to lunch. And then we see the video. We say, what are you talking about? There's anarchy, chaos in an American city. So last night, journalist Nick Sorter, he's a social media, he's big on social media. He's got over 1 million Twitter followers. He's a really good follow. He's on the ground covering the story. Here he is. The Antifa scum light an American flag on fire. Nick Sorter steps in, takes it, puts out the fire. Of course, Antifa, they don't like that. So they attack him, throw him into a flower bed. He gets up and fights back. The cops show up and arrest Nick Sorter. They arrest the conservative journalist who's saving the flag and protecting himself. He's taken away in handcuffs and charged with disorderly conduct. He just tweeted he's been released and he's going to tell his story, and there's more to come. But this is what they're doing. There was another journalist from the Post-Millennial got hit with a stick across the face, a small woman. She's got a big black eye. She pointed out the assailant to the cops. They did nothing. This city, the ICE, National Guard, federal troops have to go in and go in hard. You cannot allow this in an American city. I know we're getting used to it since the George Floyd riots. We're getting used to it. Oh, it's just Portland. It's just Seattle, Chicago, LA, whatever. But think of it. We've allowed anarchists, Antifa, to take over a city. It might only be a couple of blocks. Well, that makes it worse. That means they could stop it. They could arrest them. They could control it. They could bring peace to that neighborhood. And they choose not to. In a major American city. That's unacceptable. This means we need federal troops in that city. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get them. Let me get Nick Sorter. You got Nick Sorter's tweet this morning, because it's hard to believe. I mean, they don't arrest anybody. We see them all the time, setting fires and screaming and blocking cars and blocking ICE vehicles, and they don't get arrested. This guy puts out a burning flag. They attack him and they arrest him. Truly amazing what we're living through in Portland, and it has to end. I mean, it has to end now. Why would you want this in your city? Why? I understand the governor's this radical leftist lesbian who is telling us how peaceful a city is, and the mayor and all. They're all a bunch of left-wing nuts. But you want violence? You want chaos? You're not going to stop ICE from doing its job. You're not, at least as long as Trump's in office. So why would you want this? Why would you allow this? They arrested my favorite new Antifa guy. Is the guy arrested the other night. They arrested this little dirtbag for throwing red paint on the ICE building. And he was on the streets screaming at the cops, acting all tough when he was with all his fellow Antifa losers. They bust him, bring him in, and put him in a holding cell. They allowed Fox News in with cameras, and it is just priceless. This is just perfect, a perfect illustration of what kind of cowards, what kind of lost souls, losers we're dealing with Antifa, a group we're allowing to control parts of a city. Here he is, flipping off the cops with the red paint still on his hands and face. There's another video where he gets in the cops, and here he is in the cell, shaking, quivering, crying, "You cowardly piece of shit." That's a perfect illustration. Look at this doughy. You get him away from all the rest of the feral animals, and he just can't handle it. That has to happen to all of them. They have to be arrested, charged, jailed. I don't even know why this debate. It has to stop, and the only way to stop it is to arrest and jail and punish these people. And for some reason, some damn reason, I think I know the reason, is the people in control, the people who are ordering the cops to stand down, the people in the mayor's office, the governor's office, sympathize with these radicals. And it has to end. Stephen Miller was in Memphis the other night, where they're going to bring in the troops. Memphis, the murder capital of the country, they're going to bring in the troops, and they need them. The people there, the innocent people, the residents, the store owners, welcome this. The only one who's against this are the criminals and the Democrats. That's it. Everyone else is like, let's do it. Let's bring law and order to a major city. But he gave a great pep talk to the cops in Memphis and the feds who are going to help them. And he just nails it. It is crazy that we accept as a norm, as normal, violence, chaos, carjackings, murder, gangs in big cities. It's just like, yeah, it's part of life. You live in a city, you get carjacked. Why? Why do we think that's just part of life, just a fact we have to live with? Why? Why can't we do in all these cities what they did in DC? Just end crime, clean up the streets, get rid of the homeless encampments, clean up the train stations and the subways. Why not? It's a choice. We made a choice to just surrender these areas to the animals, to the radicals. And Stephen Miller points out that ends in Memphis, and it's going to end soon in Portland and Chicago. Check this out.
Thank you, Pete, Gaddy, Pam, and of course, your governor, not only being here today, but for the invitation to your state to bring the full resources of the federal government to making Memphis safer than any of you could ever possibly imagine. To the Memphis Police Department, to the officers that I see sitting in front of me, we are about to provide you with a level of support you cannot even imagine. This isn't just a task force. This is a all of government unlimited support operation. ATF, DEA, FBI, ICE, Department of War, every resource we have. And they're not going to be sitting behind a desk at a keyboard. We are sending in real cops with guns and badges to go out with you on the street every single night making arrests. These are people who have taken down drug cartels, kingpins, the worst criminal offenders in the United States, standing with you shoulder to shoulder to shoulder. All we ask from you is to show up at roll call every single night with your brothers and sisters in the federal government and to go out and get the criminals off the street. And if you do that, I pledge to you, we will liberate this city from the criminal element that has plagued it for generations. This is not just a strategy shift. This is an attitude shift. We are not going to live in an environment anywhere where there is a street that belongs to a criminal, where there is a neighborhood that belongs to a gang, where there is any physical space anywhere that belongs to anyone other than the law-abiding citizens and families of Memphis. The idea that there is a square inch of block in this city where a citizen doesn't feel safe is unacceptable. This is Memphis. This is the United States of America, and all that bullshit is done. It's over. It's finished.
Yeah. Why can't we do that? Say that about every city that is crime-ridden at this point. Why can't we say this is unacceptable? We have the resources. We can do it. We did it in D.C. They do it in other countries. They don't have the same problems we have, the same crime. Why can't we just arrest criminals, put them in prison? Why do we keep tolerating this? It is a great question, and hopefully it ends today. Hopefully these blue cities, these blue city mayors, these city councilors, these police forces, they they lose this battle, and the feds come in and clean them up, because it just, every interview you see with innocent residents and store owners and people just trying to live is like, yes, we need this. We want this. Bring it on. The only ones against it are Democrats, because they're against anything Trump does, and Antifa, who want to burn the frickin' country down. We're done with that. It is unacceptable. All right, we got so much to get to. We got to get to the update on the shutdown. I'm going to show you exactly why Democrats have no problem shutting the government down. At least they didn't until this shutdown. And we have the battle of bills. Two fabulously wealthy, successful comedians named Bill. One is a truth teller. The other is a total friggin' sellout. And I'm talking about you, Bill Burr, you fraud. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
What do you get when you have a bald eagle standing on top of a silverback gorilla that is riding on top of a T-Rex? Confidence, that's what you get, pure confidence. The kind of confidence that you really need in the bedroom for that next level laser wolf riding a raptor in a Lamborghini through outer space type of experience. That's where Rusiette Go Long comes in. This isn't just another ED pill. It's a confidence game changer. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula to help you get hard and go the distance. Plus, effects last up to 36 hours, which means you can feel confident all day and night and then some into the next day, too. Getting started is simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online at Rusiette.com. If prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly to your door. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to Rusiette.com and use promo code Newsmax for 15% off your first order. That's Rusiette.com, code Newsmax. Make sure to use my code so they know we sent you. I put those comments aside. Any good ones you see, Ironhead? I don't get this one. Proper Chase comments. Hope you've heard the information about the rapid stock market crash that is ongoing. I saw that and I checked. It doesn't look like a stock market crash to me. Up 421, all-time high. We'll see. Maybe you're right. Maybe
Wow, it's so bad.
Maybe it'll crash, but I don't know what you're looking at. You're looking at the Asian market or something. You're not looking at my stock market. So if you could put some, if you see any good comments, I know you're going to say they all suck, but if there are any good ones, you let me know while I get to, oh God, I love these. We got a couple of great stories. I love this. There's a new show, a new podcast, Don Lemon with Ayanna Pressley, and it's going about as well as you'd expect. We'll get to that, but I want to do the update on the shutdown because we have the perfect example of what I've been telling you, that every time there's a shutdown, Democrats have one thing in the bank, in their pocket. They know the media, the mainstream media, will carry their water, will echo their lies. It's what they do. It's happened. There's been 14 shutdowns in the last 40 years, and every time, there's arguments on both sides, and they know all of the mainstream media will do their bidding. It's one advantage they always have. Things are kind of changed. The media landscape has changed. There's many more places people get their news. There's social media, there's Newsmax, there's cable news, and so they don't have the power they once did, but they are still devoted Democrats. They're still determined to spin this in favor of their allies in the Democrat Party. And we have the best example I have ever seen of this. If you followed the story, clearly Democrats chose to shut down the government. Clearly, they put in their bill that they wanted to give health care to illegal aliens. It's verifiable. It's demonstrable. There's no debate. It's objective. You got them saying, here's what we want to do, restore this spending on illegal aliens. There's other crap in there too. There's $1.5 trillion worth of crap. There was no way the Republicans were going to accept that, or Trump was going to accept that. They knew it, so they knew a shutdown was inevitable. But Democrats love illegal aliens so much. They're so important to them. They're willing to shut down the government, roll the dice, and hope that the support of the mainstream media could help them win the battle of public relations. That was their goal. That's the way it always works. But we see it in this clip from Mike Johnson, who's been very good on this. Mike Johnson has the receipts. Hell, we've shown you the receipts. It's really not debatable. Everyone who tells you they don't want to give health care to Medicaid to illegal aliens is lying. They do it through the states. We've gone over this. Blue states give health care, Medicaid benefits to illegal aliens. Hell, California spent 35% of their Medicaid spending is on illegal aliens. They spend billions. Where do you think that comes from? It comes from the feds. It comes from you and me. And Mike Johnson has meticulously explained this in every interview. He's been really good on this. Here he is explaining it to CNN, and watch how the CNN lady, the anchor, handles it. Go ahead.
The Working Families Tax Code included a huge provision a big chunk of that bill was the health provisions. Now, why are we saying that they want to restore taxpayer-funded benefits to illegal aliens? Because that's exactly what they did. When they rejected the clean CR that we sent over, the Senate Democrats.
All right, we're listening here to Speaker Johnson. He's trying to frame the shutdown as a Democratic shutdown. He also falsely claimed that Democrats want to give extend health care to illegal immigrants. That is not true. Illegal immigrants are not eligible for federal health care programs.
That woman right there, can you get her name for me, Ironhead? I forget her name. She is just looking you in the eye and lying. She knows. I mean, I don't think she's stupid. She's a Democrat. She's a liberal. She's looking at you and lying. She knows. Get the bill with the highlights, because it's in the bill. It's in black and white. And she says, no, that's false. They're not eligible. No kidding, they're not eligible. That doesn't stop Democrats from circumventing the law and giving benefits to illegal aliens. There it is right there. Section 71109, alien Medicaid eligibility. Alien Medicaid eligibility. And they explain how they're going to give Medicaid to illegal aliens. It's in their bill. It's in black and white. That woman knows that, but she's lying. That's what they're all doing. They're lying on behalf of Democrats. Democrats knew this would happen. When Chuck Schumer decided to shut down the government, when Liz Warren decided to shut down the government, they knew CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times would do their bidding, carry their water, and lie on their behalf. I don't think it's working. I know. I just saw Harry Enton said a poll. People are blaming the Republicans. But when you look at this, unless, they know most of their supporters are stupid and they're clueless and they don't even pay attention. They don't read things like this. But Mike Johnson brings the receipts. He explains, here's what they want to do. And we also caught them clearly saying the quiet part out loud when Ro Khanna and others, hell, that clip from the debate in 2019, where every single candidate raised their hands when they said, do you want to give Medicaid to illegal aliens? They all raised their hands. Bernie Sanders raised 2 hands. Eric Swalwell was on that stage raising his hand. The people on that stage are now in Congress or in the Senate, and they want to give you, they've told you they want to give illegal aliens Medicaid. That's it. That's all. Not hard to understand. Republicans don't, and most of the American people don't. So I'm really not sure how they can continue to gaslight the country much longer. Maybe it'll end today. They're back in session. Maybe it'll end today. It'll end. Everyone will get their back pay. No planes will crash. There will be no chaos in the streets. It'll end like every other government shutdown, and eventually everyone will know the truth. But give me that clip from Caitlin, another CNN clip, which I absolutely love. And I've said this before, but this merits repeating when you think about it. Donald Trump 1.0 versus 2.0, many, many improvements. God knows his cabinet is so much better. His vice president is so much better than the last guy. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to think Trump's second term is better than the first. But as we've seen over the last few days, as they do the meme war, the meme battle, and Trump posts Hakeem Jeffries in a sombrero and plays mariachi music in the press room in the White House, cranks in a loudspeaker. The biggest difference, to me, the most enjoyable difference, Trump doesn't give a shit. They don't care. Vance doesn't care what the media says anymore. They don't care that they're going to offend these snowflakes at CNN or MSNBC, and Joe Scarborough and Mika are going to scream about how offended they are. They don't care that MSNBC says, we're not going to show you the meme because it's beneath us. It's fake news. It's misinformation. Trump just smiles and says, what are you going to do about it? He's not running for re-election. They can't impeach him. He doesn't care. And here's Caitlin Collins admitting it. Go ahead.
So we played sound from Vice President Vance, not just defending that AI racist video of Minority Leader Jeffries wearing a sombrero, but also like celebrating that video. And it was playing on a loop in the briefing room today. What are you hearing from the inside about that?
It was not only just playing on a loop in the briefing room. If you've never been in the press briefing room, for those who haven't, there are loudspeakers overhead so you can hear announcements or what's being said, or if there's an event going on with the president in the Rose Garden, for example. They were playing that mariachi music as well over the loudspeakers for all the press that was coming in and out of the White House today inside the press briefing room. It just kind of gives you a window, John, into how they're dealing with this and how they believe they have the upper hand when it comes to the messaging here, and also kind of how things have changed from the first time Donald Trump was in office. I mean, there was a shutdown then. I remember all 35 days of it. As the president said at the beginning, he'd be proud to shut the government down. And then it ended, obviously, with him not getting the money for his border wall. This time, you know, there's a moment here. They're being heavily criticized over these posts by the president, by Democrats. And instead of backing off or apologizing for it, they're leaning into it, and they're playing the music over loudspeakers and on repeat inside the briefing room because they simply don't care about that criticism.
They simply don't care about that criticism. I love that. That's the way. That's so refreshing. Trump cared what Caitlin Collins said and John Berman said and that other CNN lady said the first term. They don't care anymore. And that's great. He is doubling down. He's posting more memes, more sombreros, more mariachi music. And you know what they're doing? They're doing it with a smile. They're doing it with a laugh. When they meme J.D. Vance, had that big fat J.D. Vance face, he retweets it, reposts it, and laughs about it. That's how you do it. And she has never been more right when she says they think they're winning the messaging war. Yes, they are. They're winning the meme war. They're winning the messaging war. Gavin Newsom's trying to keep up, and it's remarkable to watch. Gavin Newsom is posting all these stupid memes. The Democrats can't meme. He's posting the fat J.D. Vance. This was Gavin Newsom just about a year ago. This is amazing. Manipulating a voice in an ad like this one should be illegal. I'll be signing a bill in a matter of weeks to make sure it is. He signed a law against memes, against manipulation of AI on social media. And now he's doing it more than anyone. He's doing it constantly, memeing and making fun of Vance and Trump. I'm going to say it's pretty clear. Republicans are winning the messaging war, which brings us to the big effort to get their message out. Democrats had the other night, the shutdown night. They had a live stream on YouTube, and it went about as well as you could be expected. There were constant technical difficulties. They tried to get everyone on there to tell their side of the story. That was supposed to be a big, town hall-like event. There was, at one point, Hakeem Jeffries, he started it, he ran it. He had 36 viewers. They had a segment at 9 o'clock at night on Tuesday night where Ayanna Pressley and Don Lemon, two big stars in the Democrat Party, did a live stream together to talk about, how they want to give illegal aliens health care and Republicans are bad and we're good. They had 122 viewers. Politico wrote about it. Politico had a reporter watch the entire thing, 14 hours. And even Politico had to admit it was a disaster for Democrats. Ayanna Pressley, squad member, crazy, opinionated, loud, obnoxious woman, and Don Lemon, big star, big influencer, had 122 people watching. There are 40 million Democrats in this country, and they couldn't get more than 122 of them to tune in to their struggle session on YouTube, which is great. Of course, they're also posting their videos in the Capitol, trying to find, Republicans who are working. Sarah McBride is. Sarah McBride is another big star in the Democrat Party. He's a man who changed his name to Sarah and wears a dress, and he's an actual congressperson from Delaware, and he posted video and I guess looked at it before he posted it and said, yeah, this is a good idea. This is the cringe. We've seen a lot of cringy things of late, a lot of really bad memes and bad videos. This is rock bottom. This is, again, a man dressed as a woman walking through the Capitol trying to find Republicans during a shutdown. I'm not even sure why they're supposed to be there. They weren't in session. They weren't taking votes. Why are they supposed to be there? It doesn't matter. Watch this absolute buffoon prowl through the Capitol looking for Republicans.
We're barreling towards a shutdown. All my Democratic colleagues are here. I'm going to go search for my Republican colleagues. Republicans, y'all know there's a government shutdown. Republicans, anyone here? Is Mike Johnson in here? Let's see if some Republicans are in here. Are there any Republicans in here? Hello? Republicans? No Republicans here. They left a mess and left town. No Republicans on the train. Republicans. Have you seen any Republicans? Are any Republicans here? Hello, Republicans. Does anyone know how to fix this thing? Hello? 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 Hi, Democratic colleague. Max, I'm looking for Republicans. Have you seen any?
I have been looking too. They're nowhere to be found.
Have you guys seen Republicans? No.
Oh my God.
I don't know where they are.
That again, made that video, edited it, posted it, and thinks it's making a point. I don't even get the point. Why are they supposed to be there? That, I guess you can't embarrass. If you're a man dressed as a woman with pretending to be like breasts, there's no shame. There's no embarrassment. That person is beyond shame. But that is uncomfortable. I can't imagine being on her side. All right, let's get to Ironhead's favorite story of the day: the Battle of Bills. Two very, very rich, very famous comedians, Bill Maher and Bill Burr. Bill Maher, I can't believe I used to hate this guy. Some days I still hate him. He still hates Trump, even though he had dinner with him. But Bill Maher has been a truth teller on the problem we have with Islam, militant Islam, and immigration for years. It's hard to believe this video was 11 years ago. He sat down with Charlie Rose, that perv, and he didn't back down and he didn't pull punches. He told the truth about what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a violent, fanatical group that wants to conquer, not assimilate, not get along. And most in the media still, 11 years later, hell, after all the attacks, after September 11th and October 7th, and after the other night in Manchester, that morning in Manchester, England, still live in denial, still think it's about, it's about both sides saying, oh, yeah, religious fanatics on both sides. But this is so good. I hadn't seen this in a while, and it's worth replaying after Wednesday's attack in England. And then we'll get to Bill Maher, that coward. Bill Burr, the coward. Here's Bill Maher.
Stop booing me for pointing out that Islam is not like other religions. There are illiberal beliefs that are held by vast numbers of Muslim people that I don't think
vast number of Christians too.
No, that's not true. Not true. Vast numbers of Christians do not believe that if you leave the Christian religion, you should be killed for it. Vast numbers of Christians do not treat women as second-class citizens. Vast numbers of Christians
I agree with that.
Do not believe that if you draw a picture of Jesus Christ, you should get killed for it. There's a Pew poll of Egypt done a few years ago. 82%, I think it was, said stoning is the appropriate punishment for adultery. Over 80% thought death was the appropriate punishment for leaving the Muslim religion. I'm sure you know these things.
I know. Well, I do.
But I don't. That this religion is like other religions is just naive and plain wrong. It is not like other religions. The New York Times pointed out in an op-ed a couple of weeks ago that in Saudi Arabia, just since August 4th, I think it was, they have beheaded 19 people, most for non-violent crimes, including homosexuality.
They didn't got the hands off the thief.
Right. Okay. So we're upset that ISIS is beheading people, which we should be upset about. But Saudi Arabia does it, and they're our good friends because they have oil.
Right.
Okay. But they do it too. This is the center of the religion in Mecca, where infidels, non-Muslims, are not even allowed in the holy parts of the city. I mean, okay, they do behead people. Now, if they were beheading people in Vatican City, which is the equivalent of Mecca, don't you think there'd be a bigger outcry about it? So this is the soft bigotry of low expectations that we have with Muslim people.
There you go. Charlie Rose pushing back. Oh, yeah, Christians do it. And Maher points out beautifully that they don't behead people. Saudi Arabia beheads people. And he pointed out for homosexuality. So you think we would have a bigger problem with Saudi Arabia. But no, Saudi Arabia holds a comedy festival in Riyadh, and they have obviously limitless funds. So they pay American comedians obscene amounts of money, and some decline it on principle, like the great Shane Gillis, but not Bill Burr. Of course not. Bill Burr, who doesn't miss a chance to talk about how awful this country is or Trump is. Dave Chappelle actually said he can speak freer in Saudi Arabia than he can here in the United States. How does that work, Dave? You can't, they went there and did this for millions and millions. And they had two things they were not allowed to talk about. They weren't allowed to make fun of the royals in Saudi Arabia, and they weren't allowed to talk about religion. So you give these free speech warriors, Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle, and who else is on there? Kevin Hart. You give them all this money, and you set the rules, and they say, okay, I'll do it. And, probably same place, probably beheading people and chopping hands off of thieves. These outspoken comedians had no problem with. Bill Maher says it was one of the most amazing experiences of his life. He was offered something like $1.5 million to do one night. Tim Dillon was offered $375,000 for one night. He agreed to do it, but then he went on his podcast and said Saudi Arabia has slaves, so they canceled it. But what a fraud, what a hypocrite Bill Burr is. Honest to God. This is a guy who thinks Trump's a fascist and a dictator. And he'll literally go to a place with actual fascists and take their money and tell you how wonderful it is. I'm not sure. I can't believe Chappelle did this. This is a guy that turned down, $10 million from Comedy Central and did his own thing. And he's wildly successful and making a fortune. And he really needs money from Saudi Arabia to do comedy under their rules. Just disappointing from some of the, who else you got on that list, Ironhead? That Pete Davidson?
Pete Davidson, Tom Segura, Sam Morril, Mark Norman, Chris DiStefano, Aziz Ansari, Dave Chappelle, Andrew Schultz, Louis C.K., Chris Tucker, Kevin Hart, Gabriel Iglesias.
Louis C.K. Louis C.K. They would have chopped off, they wouldn't have chopped off your hands for what you did here in the United States. They would have chopped off something else, Louis, and you go there and take their money. What a bunch of sellouts and frauds. And they all come home and say how wonderful it is. Oh, it's great. They were so nice. Everyone was so nice. Yeah, they were beheading people next door, but what the hell? We're different. We all have different customs. Here in the United States, we have, free speech. Here, they chop heads of homosexuals. But what's the big deal? I got a friend who was in the Air Force, and he tells the story all the time. They were in Saudi Arabia, and they were invited to go to see an execution. And they did. They went and watched. He said they put them in the front row and they watched an execution. He said it was just the most disgusting, bizarre thing. A crowd of people watched a beheading, and including Americans. That's the country where, they're allowed to do comedy. Just don't make fun of us.
Oh, I don't know. Don't forget about 9/11 either.
No kidding. Honest to God. I understand. We have to have this unholy alliance with them for the oil, but you're going to go there and pretend that it's not an authoritarian theocracy. You're going to pretend, as Bill Burr said, it was amazing. Everyone was so nice to us. Gave me, $1.5 million for one night. What a fraud. All right. We got any good comments here on this Friday? Ironhead, as we await the riots.
There's a few there. They're all right.
I couldn't believe the crowd in Chicago. I can't believe the crowd right now in Chicago. Stuff is about to go down in Chicago. And you know what? It's going to get worse. They already found a bomb on one of these Antifa scum in Chicago. Someone's going to get hurt badly. And maybe this weekend. All right. Andrew says they need to indict these politicians who allow these organizations to riot, vandalize, and attack and injure people for failing to enforce our laws. Yes, they do. There's a tour. Somebody got a tour. I don't know how they did it. Hidden camera into the Antifa headquarters in Portland, and it's big and it's nice. I mean, it's spray paint on the wall and all these crazy banners hanging. But they have someone funding them, someone sowing this chaos, probably a Soros outfit, probably us, probably somehow taxpayers are funding them. Rudy says these officials in Oregon should be arrested for siding with the terrorists. Yeah, they do. We need to see this. It is shameful. I always think of, if you're a cop, cops can't side with Antifa. They're just following orders or they're just standing down because they're told to. Who's telling them not to arrest people? They should force these cops to talk, to tell their story, because it is really discouraging. Oh, Rudy says, wait until the Democrats win back the presidency. Oh, really? You think if we act nice and we don't come after, criminals like James Comey or Adam Schiff, then they won't come after Republicans? You think that's how that'll work? Jack says, Sarah's looking for the ladies' room. Yeah, I think Sarah gets to use the ladies' room, although I think she has her own bathroom. He has her own bathroom in his office, but I can't imagine looking at that fool and saying, yeah, I'm on her side. What are the people of Delaware thinking? I know I'm from Massachusetts. No one's more ashamed of our representatives than I am, but you invited, obviously, a mentally ill man to represent you in Congress. What do you expect? Send in the troops, put away the Antifa scum. Yeah, I think it's coming. I think it's time. I think they crossed the line with the arrest of Nick Sorter for extinguishing a burning American flag and then getting assaulted for it and filming it. They arrested him. And he says, get ready. He's going to tell the whole story. So follow him and we'll see what he has to say. But it's going to get a little dicey this weekend, I'm pretty sure. They're empowered. They don't pay any price. That clown with the red paint who was crying, you think he's going to do any time? Of course not. He's going to be out. He's going to be in the mob with the rest of the animals tonight. It's just going to continue until they pay a price. But we will leave it there for today, and we'll keep an eye on it. It's going to be crazy. And I'll let Ironhead go listen to the new Taylor Swift album. You excited about that, Ironhead?
I can't wait to hear what she has to say about Travis.
Yeah, I saw that on some show this morning. They said, did Travis influence her writing? And some woman who's like a Swiftie said, oh yeah, you can hear it, the thread throughout the album. You can tell that she's in love. Like, yeah. Well, isn't she usually right about scorn lovers? That's coming. That's the next album. That's my prediction, by the way. They're going to get married. It's going to be spectacular. It's going to be over the top. Everyone's going to be so. And then, I don't know, 2 years later, they're going to split because famous people never stay together.
It's going to be like a royal wedding, too. It's going to be crazy.
Oh, it's going to be obnoxious. It'll be, everyone, Patrick Mahomes will be there, and Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber, and they'll pretend they want the media out, no coverage, but they'll be covering it and it'll be everywhere. And they'll split within 2 years because that's what happens. All right, that'll do it for today and for this week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we will do it again Monday morning.
And what crime has he committed that would warrant his arrest? What crime has Governor Newsom committed?
A crime has he committed?
Yeah, to warrant his arrest, as you
I think his
suggested earlier.
primary crime is running for governor because he's done such a bad job